All right, guys, welcome into my official NFL Week number 10 picks and predictions, where I predict the final score of every NFL Week number 10 game. And we begin with Thursday night, Atlanta traveling to Carolina. Another underwhelming Thursday night game. I've got Atlanta winning this one, lower scoring. Carolina right now, it's very clear that they are trying to tank. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, both healthy. Yes, neither of those quarterbacks are very good, but I would say they would have a better chance winning with them. Totally understandable. If I was Carolina, with their current draft capital, with their situation, trading Christian McCaffrey, I would be trying to lose as well and trying to get a minimum of a top 4 or 5 pick. Atlanta's been a little bit of a surprise this year. They run the ball decent enough. They got Cordero Patterson back. He had 2 touchdowns last week. I'll take Atlanta. Maybe they get Drake London a little bit more involved. Kyle Pitts. They win this game on the road. They cover the 3-point spread, and the under hits in the Thursday night game. Moving on to the London game. I believe this is the final London game of the year, the 9:30 a.m. game. It is a neutral site game between Seattle and Tampa Bay. And guys, originally I picked Tampa Bay. I just can't do it with Tom Brady anymore. Even with the comeback victory over the Rams, the offense is broken. Tom Brady, at some point, you gotta hang it up. It's not happening. Seattle, on the other hand, we have to, believe this team is at least semi-legitimate because they've played so well. They're very consistent. Geno Smith playing well in the NFL in 2022. It's pretty crazy. I will take Seattle, their overall offense, to win this game 24-17. I want to pick Tampa Bay. I think, Tampa Bay being a 2.5-point favorite, it is fair, but I just have not seen enough from this Tampa Bay offense for me to really trust them. As Seattle's been really good, really consistent over a longer stretch. I'll take Seattle in that one. Moving to the 1 o'clock games, we have Denver traveling to Tennessee. Tennessee simply doesn't have any receivers. Denver's not, these games, guys, I don't know what to say. The offense in the NFL is so down. I can't talk either of these teams up. Russell Wilson having the worst year of his career. The Titans, again, they don't have receivers. They do not have legitimate receivers. I don't know how points get scored in this game. I do have Denver coming off a bye, maybe getting a little bit more healthy. They've still got Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. They get this win on the road. It's impossible to pick Tennessee. All they can do, their entire offense, is giving the ball to Derrick Henry. It doesn't matter if it's Malik Willis. It doesn't matter if it's Ryan Tannehill. I do expect Ryan Tannehill to be back for this game. I'll take Denver in a road upset. Tennessee is worse than their record says they are. They're going to start losing some games, in my opinion. Next, we've got Cleveland traveling to Miami. The Browns sitting at +4 in this one. They had that great Monday night performance. Then they had a bye week. And I do think the Browns are good value in this game. They're going to lose. But to me, Miami's still a one-dimensional team. I'm not seeing a rushing attack. Tua's been so good, though. It's impossible for me to, right now, pick Jacoby Brissett to outright beat Tua on the road. I like the Browns roster. They are coming off a bye. They're gaining momentum with Deshaun Watson coming back soon. But in this situation, I do have to go with Miami at home. This line kind of reminds me of Miami -5 last week in Chicago. I loved the value of Chicago in that. I like the value in the Browns to keep this game close. Will they win it? Probably not, because Tua's been so good this year. But I think they do enough to keep it close. Next, we've got Jacksonville traveling to Kansas City. So the Chiefs, a real surprising, tough game against Tennessee, even though they almost had 500 yards of total offense. I think we see a self-correction. Jacksonville really had no right beating Las Vegas. Yes, they won. Travis Etienne's been so good. I think we get a big correction. It's a large line at 9.5, but I've got the Chiefs covering this line, winning 34-20. Their offense playing well. And again, the 500 total yards on Sunday night only amounted, to not very many points. They're going to score a lot more in this game. That was a little bit of an aberration. They will cover this spread, in my opinion. Jacksonville's been very streaky. They haven't been great recently. Nice little home win last week. I think it ends there. I've got Kansas City getting back on track, winning this game. Well, I guess they did win last week, but their offense scoring more points and winning this game 34-20. We've got a little AFC NFC game. New Orleans traveling to Pittsburgh. Right now, the Saints coming off that Monday night horrible performance. It's Andy Dalton. You got to wonder, is Jameis Winston coming back at some point, especially after that bad performance by Dalton? I love the value in Pittsburgh at home in this game. I believe they're coming off a bye week. Kenny Pickett, he's been able to manage the game. Pittsburgh will keep this close. They might even outright win it. But you've got a New Orleans team, especially if they're starting Andy Dalton. I don't have a lot of faith in them right now. Personally, I've got the Saints winning this game by 1 point because their overall roster is better than Pittsburgh's, but it is a situation. Look at the quarterbacks. Maybe Jarvis Landry comes back this week, gives them another weapon. We will see. It'll be very important, the injury report in this game. Next, we have Detroit traveling to Chicago, and it's about time the Bears start winning these games. Justin Fields has been so great. Maybe I was a little aggressive saying they're going to score 38 points this week, but I just think Detroit's defense is due for a really down week. They're not a good defense. They did have a good performance at home last week against Aaron Rodgers. Chicago, Justin Fields, momentum. He's getting more comfortable. They're at home. They're facing a bad defense. It all aligns for another Justin Fields breakout game at home. They're 3-point favorites. I love the over 48 in this game. And Detroit, to me, again, their defense not as good as it was last week against Aaron Rodgers. They had a bunch of red zone turnovers. That's streaky. You can't rely on getting red zone takeaways every week. Justin Fields, young quarterback, getting more confident, maybe throws it a bit more this week, and the Bears win this game. A little bit of a higher scoring game in that one. Next, we have Houston traveling to New York to take on the Giants. I feel like this is the classic closer than it should be game. Houston's been so bad, they have no pulse. But for some reason, because it is the NFL, I do think they're going to cover the 6.5-point spread. The Giants, they've won games. They're in position to make the playoffs, but this is Daniel Jones. This is a mediocre roster. Let's be real. I feel like Houston, they had the Thursday night game. They had a layoff. I believe the Giants are coming off their bye week, but either way, I like Houston to cover this spread. Keep this game surprisingly close, but I do have the Giants winning it. Next, we have Minnesota traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. How crazy has Minnesota been this year? They have one loss so far. I believe they're sitting at 7-1. Going to Buffalo. The Bills, major injury concerns right now for Josh Allen. Is he playing? Is he not? This is going to be a cold weather game in Buffalo this time of year. I like Minnesota with all the unknowns right now to cover this spread. I'll take Buffalo and I'll take the under. Josh Allen, I'm guessing, is going to play. We don't know. Is he going to be 100%? I think he's probably going to be pretty close. That's why I'm not picking Minnesota to win this game, but there are some unknowns. Also, Josh Allen has really struggled taking care of the football. He's simply throwing too many interceptions, too many ill-advised passes. He's going to have to clean that up. But Minnesota is a team that, you want to talk about it, very similar to Tennessee. They should be worse than their record. They're getting outgained consistently in every game they play. They're winning close games left and right. The game against the Commanders is another example, but they do find a way to win, and you've got to respect that. Moving on to the 4 o'clock window, we have Indianapolis traveling to Vegas to take on the Raiders, and I think this game is very similar to the game the Raiders played at home about a month ago versus Houston, where they're around a touchdown favorite and they have kind of an offensive explosion and they cover the spread. You've got Indianapolis right now with Jeff Saturday. It's a curious move. I don't quite understand it. I don't think many people do. My only thought on that could be that, Indianapolis, they know it's just going to be an interim situation. They're going to do a fresh start in the offseason and tank. Hopefully get a top 4 or 5 pick, maybe draft C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young. If Indianapolis is able to get a top pick, I think C.J. Stroud needs to play in a dome. It just suits his style so much better. So if Indianapolis got CJ Stroud, you've already got a solid offensive line. You've already got the infrastructure. You've got weapons. Paris Campbell is turning to be pretty good, although I think they have to extend him. Alec Pierce, Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor, they're resting him right now. There's no reason to, play Jonathan Taylor if you are going the tanking route. Indianapolis could really set themselves up if they truly do tank this season and get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud or a top quarterback, whoever it may be. We will see. The 425 games, there's two 425 games. It's Arizona at the LA Rams. And guys, these games in the NFC West are just all low scoring. And this is another mucky, low-scoring game. I've got the under 42.5. The Rams winning this game because Arizona, they just have a broken offense. We've got Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins constantly arguing. The Rams should have beat the Bucs last week. They've got a really talented defense still. Yes, it's not the Rams' year. It's very clear, but this is a game where they're at home and they've got a better defense than Arizona. They'll do enough. Maybe Cooper Kupp catches a touchdown. That's pretty much their only offense. The Rams have zero running game, but Arizona, outside of Kyler Murray's scrambles, really has zero running game. Both of these teams really worse than we expected them to be. I'll take LA at home to bounce back and get this win and cover the 3. And then this was the kind of the prime time 4 o'clock window matchup. It is Dallas traveling to Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. We know how well, the narrative Aaron Rodgers plays against the, Dallas Cowboys, but this is a completely different team. The Green Bay Packers completely mismanaged their roster. They traded their number 1 overall receiver, one of the best receivers in the NFL, and they used that pick on a linebacker who sucks. And they just did not do a good job at replacing the lost talent of Devontae Adams at all. That receiver room is terrible. There's injuries left and right. They're playing 3rd or 4th round rookies. Dallas has too good of a defense. They win this game on the road, and I don't think 5 is enough personally. It's tough to, say Aaron Rodgers should be like a touchdown underdog at home, but we're at the point where you got to show me something. We're already at week 10. It's not happening with Green Bay this year. That is abundantly clear based off of their performances, based off of the wide receiver situation, and it's not getting any better. You've got Romeo Doubs now injured, out 4 to 6 weeks. Moving on to the Sunday night game, it's going to be the Chargers traveling to San Francisco. The Chargers are just such an injured team with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. I thought both of those guys were going to play last week. Turns out Keenan Allen, I think, re-aggravated his injury for the 3rd time, coming off their bye week. So they are just so injured. I don't see any way they score enough against this good San Francisco defense. I believe San Francisco's also, they're coming off their bye week. They had it last week. San Francisco wins this game at home. They use their defense. Justin Herbert really has no one to throw to, in my opinion. Moving to the Monday night game, it's going to be the Commanders traveling to Philly to take on the Eagles. We will see if the Eagles can remain undefeated here. They are 11-point favorites. We've seen kind of an interesting trend with these teams that are double-digit favorites not covering, and I'm going to kind of poach off of that trend and say that the Commanders are able to cover in this one. Eagles are going to win this game 26-17, but I do like the value in the Commanders plus 11. They're a team that has a decent enough defense, and Taylor Heineke, maybe he makes a few plays, he makes a few passes. They've got a stable of interesting skill position talent with Curtis Samuel and such. So, I'll say the Commanders do enough to keep it close. Philly wins this game, but the Commanders have a good enough defense and a decent enough to average offense to keep this game close, in my opinion. So, guys, those are my official NFL Week number 10 picks and predictions. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.